this world is harsh, and it's been inverted so much that people that have memories of being on other planets and other realms have a very hard time dealing with being here because it's so dense and so heavy and seems so corruptible. I would love for that to be the case. I'm not too sure if we're ready. I think something big has to happen for us to for all of humanity to be ready for that. Hi, my name is Maya Starfire, and I am a healer. I'm a massage therapist and an energy healer. I've been working for the past 27 years doing that. I'm also a paranormal experiencer and an ET contactee. And I have just been on this journey trying to meet like-minded people and help guide in the remembering of who we are and where we come from and how to interact with each other and the beings around us. My first experience happened when I was 17 years old, and back in the 90s, this kind of stuff wasn't talked about at all. And if it was, people were looked at as crazy. So when it did happen, me and my friend were really scared. But we were driving down a dirt road at night, and we saw this pillar of light hovering above the ground. And there was no other light source around that it could possibly be. It wasn't like a street light or anything like that, because there was no street lights. It was a dark country road. When we drove up to it, I didn't stop because I didn't know what it was, and I was afraid that, something could happen to us. So instead of the car driving through the pillar of light went through the car, all the way through it, in between me and my friend. And then nothing really happened for a very long time until I had my first huge awakening. And it was started with just lights in the sky, just like one light in the sky. And then the more and more I met people and talked about seeing these crafts in the sky, the more they would show up. So it seemed to be some kind of, my knowing their existence kind of made, I think, my energy body light up more. I think once we perceive things, then they can tell we can perceive them. And it comes in as a swarm of all kinds of different paranormal and ET experience. So lots of little things would happen around the house. I guess you could call it paranormal stuff, like stuff moving and lights flickering. But one night I walked outside and something told me to go back outside, turn off the porch light, and look up. And I did. And there was 3 perfect stars. They almost look like cartoons, I guess, because they were almost perfect. And they had tails. And the only thing I can ever describe them as is plasma. And they were lined up 1, 2, 3, like this. And they were so low that it couldn't be a shooting star because it went through the tree line. And they couldn't be stars because they don't fly that low. And also the tree didn't catch on fire. So I assumed it was some kind of plasma being or some kind of signal. And that same night, I saw what I call a parade of lights in the sky. And it was about 15 different crafts, one right after another, that night. And that persisted for about 3 months, and then it would stop for 3 months, and then it would start up again, and then it was consistent every night. As long as the sky was clear, I could see what I call a parade. It was way more than 5. The very least I would see in a night would be about 5. And they seem to interact with my thoughts. So I'll ask questions and I'll get what you call like a flash. And my inner knowing is that the ones that flash just once or twice are more physical than these orbs I see that I believe are they're either beings of light or their crafts are made of light. And there's no way for me to know because I'm not up there. But yeah, so they answer my questions with flashes or things that look like shooting stars, like the thing I saw before, as an answer. So, and it's always a yes. So if it's a no, I don't get a response. But if it's a yes, I do get a response. And I'm not the only reason I know that this is a thing is I'm not the only experiencer that this happens to. Many other experiencers say that when they ask questions, either out loud, but mostly in their minds, they'll get a response of either a flash or something that looks like a shooting star that is not a shooting star. So yeah, they've been in the sky still continuously for the past, I don't even know, 6 months now, nonstop, as long as there's no clouds. They did move in the direction they were in. They started off in the north, then they moved to the west, and now they're back over in the north again. So that's the experience for now as far as like in my eyesight, like my physical eyesight here in this realm. Different ones have different forms. I have an Orion guide who he's a shaman and a shapeshifter, so he can shift his form very easily, and it's not like a shapeshifter as we perceive them here on Earth. He's funny and sarcastic, but he's not evil. So, but he's got like a grayish tone to his skin. He doesn't have any hair. He looks very, very humanoid, and he wears lots of dark, I would say, extravagant kind of clothing because he's a shaman. I guess that's what they do. I don't know where he's from. Another one of my guides is a Pleiadian, and he looks like the typical Nordic with the blonde hair and the blue eyes. He's extremely tall, extremely peaceful and kind. They look like a very tall Swiss man, I guess you could say. I have another guide who is Arcturian, and she's quite tall. Well, everything's tall to me because I'm short, but this Arcturian is about 7 feet tall, and she doesn't have hair. She's got kind of a bigger head. Her eyes are huge, but she's beautiful. I think they're all beautiful. I like finding the beauty in all kinds of things. So, yeah, those are just a couple of them. I do have a dragon, too. I have a dragon guide who's been with me since Lemuria, who I have clear memories of being with in Lemuria, too. So,
what do you think about the government UFO disclosure?
I mean, there's many sides to the government disclosure. I'm an experiencer, and many of us who already know about all this stuff kind of think it's like nothing burgers, think it's a joke, get very frustrated with the lack of a lack of actual what we would call disclosure, because what they're showing and talking about we already know about, and most of us have better footage than what they're showing the public that doesn't know anything about it. So we are, we're not satisfied with those of us who have already experienced our own disclosure. But I do think that it's allowing others to wake up in a way that needs to happen. So that doesn't always look beautiful. That doesn't always look perfect. And it might be what the people who don't understand about these things or experience these things need to be kind of drip fed this information. Because I don't know that seeing like an alien body on these files or something, or seeing an actual craft hover over their house, wouldn't like make people go insane or get very scared, you know. So it's good in a way that they're easing into it, but I do know that most of us aren't completely satisfied, and it does kind of feel like they're attempting to steer the narrative. There's way more than 4. They've only come out with 4 beings, and most of us know that they've interacted with way more than 4. So, you know, it's a little shady. I don't know. I try to be like a devil's advocate, like maybe it's a good thing, but they haven't really shown me that they're for our best intentions. So I have yet to see that.
Yes, I hope so. And some people say next year we will have open contact soon. So do you agree with them, or what do you think?
Yeah, I keep hearing that too. I would love that for that to happen. That would be amazing. I don't know what the steps are needed to get to that place, because I'm not too sure that humanity is even nice enough to humankind. Like if there's a small difference, there's some kind of conflict over, you know, a different belief system, a different color, a different religion. We can't even get along with each other. I'm not too sure if humanity is ready to get along with the entire different species from different worlds. And I'm not too sure that they wouldn't try to, you know, harm them or start some kind of crazy war because they're different. So I don't know what it's going to take for humanity to step up and rise above and actually figure out that we're all from the same place and that we all just need to get along regardless of differing opinions. I would love for that to be the case. I'm not too sure if we're ready. I think something big has to happen for all of humanity to be ready for that. If disclosure happened tomorrow, do you mean open contact disclosure? Yeah. So if open contact disclosure happened tomorrow, what would surprise humanity the most? Well, you know, there are technically 3 types of people when it comes to disclosure with the paranormal or contactees or experiencers. There are true believers, there are seekers, and there are skeptics. And you know, there can be a combination of the 3, but generally that's the 3 different types of people we have within all of this fringe stuff. So I guess the biggest thing would be, oh my God, they're real and they're here, and I guess that's it. I don't that's a very hard question. It would probably be, oh my God, this is real. Oh my God, they're actually having disclosure would probably be the biggest one. Like we're actually doing this. We're actually integrated with other beings.
Some experiencers believe humans carry DNA from star civilizations. So, what are your guides say about humanity true origin?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am in the camp that our DNA is from other worlds. I believe that we are not just 1 or 2. I think we're a combination of all kinds of other beings meshed into, you know, what we have here. I also believe that our soul has memories and shards of experience from other lifetimes on other planets. So That's why we have people having like reoccurring memories, and some of them are like perfectly matched up memories and they've never even talked before. So, yeah, I do believe that we do come from the stars and that our family is out there and that they helped seed this earth. No other theory makes sense to me. No other theory that they've ever tried to come up with makes sense to me. And I myself have felt very, very different my whole life. So when I first discovered this, it made the absolute most sense to me. Because this world is harsh and it's been inverted so much that people that have memories of being on other planets and other realms have a very hard time dealing with being here because it's so dense and so heavy and seems so corruptible. But I do have faith that there is a possibility to return it to the state that it's supposed to be in, which is basically Eden, paradise. I believe that was what we had in Lemuria, and I think that was always the plan, for this earth to always become the new Eden again, or a new earth, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, so my guides are still very optimistic, like me, that there will be a new world, a new earth. There's many different names for it, but that it will be a more cohesive, loving society that integrates different beings lovingly. But they have always been very clear that it's going to get ugly before it gets better. So, I think right now we're in the ripping off the Band-Aid portion and looking at the ugly sore before it heals over and becomes brand new skin. So yeah, my visions of the future have always been of a really loving and evolved world. Okay,
So,
dreams and astral travel. Okay.
so many people say their dreams have become vivid, incredibly vivid recently. So why do you think that's happening?
Yeah, dreams have become even more vivid. I think that we are learning. Well, I am especially. People might have. There's plenty of people who have been in the know about all of this for a very long time, but it's my belief that we are traveling to other, not only other worlds and realms, but possibly other dimensions where we're visiting other parts of ourselves, like dimensionally. I believe that there is probably like 15 or more me somewhere else doing something else in a different way or capacity, which is why a lot of us wake up tired. We're not sleeping. Our souls are out there working. And I also believe that we're also visiting either crafts or other planets while we're sleeping, which is another reason why we're waking up tired and drained, and why the dreams are so like vivid and crazy. I think right now is a really great opportunity for people to do dream work and find answers to problems and stuff, and to this life, this world too, for themselves. And I think the ability to lucid dream and get out of body is becoming easier, because it's part of a natural piece of who we are. We used to be able to travel to other realms, no problem, back in Lemuria. It was like a normal thing to do. And now it's like unheard of. Like nobody's, so we're doing it in our dreams first so that we can become acclimated to doing it naturally while we're awake. It's every night. You asked, the question was, how often is my experience?
Yep.
How often does it happen to me? Okay, so pretty much every night. If I don't have time to go out, or my mom got really sick, and so I didn't have a whole lot of time to go spend out communicating with them. But it is anytime I want it to be, pretty much. Anytime I want to go out and see them, they will appear. There have been many times where they've appeared to me, like waited for me. Like I walked out the door and they were already there waiting for me. Even when I'm traveling, they'll pop up. Even when I'm at a client's house, they'll pop up, just kind of like a, yeah, we are here, we're paying attention, we're looking out. I take it as a sign of we're looking out for you. We are here with you. So I grew up feeling very out of place my whole life, and I feel like this is their way of being like, you've never been alone, and you're not alone now. As this world is a really weird, crazy place to be in, to be honest, especially if you're not too easy to fit into a box. So, yeah, I also have experience as far as like astral travel. Several of my spirit guides are off-worlders too. So I consider that contact. I'm not too sure if everybody else does, but to me that's contact. And then I have a little bit of contact in my dreams, but because I do have my guides that are here at a, second's notice, and my ability to travel and see these beings in the astral is so easy. I don't think that they need me to be contacted in dreams. Unfortunately, I haven't seen anything like a physical alien in front of me, aside from these plasma beings, which I still don't know if they're crafts or beings themselves. So for me, because I don't always sit in meditation and I can't always look into my third eye, they do come on. They do appear to my body in a physical way, so I'll feel a different guide in a different portion of my body, and I'll know that that's so-and-so, unless I hear their name or I call for that specific one for whatever thing I'm dealing with. Yeah, they do. They come and they get tingles or goosebumps in different areas of my body, signifying which one is there with me. I think it's all connected. I think that you can't have one without the other, really. Not the kind of contact I have, anyways. I do recognize that people have contact without being, into consciousness. But I believe that it always stems back there. When you see something like this, when you have this experience of seeing with your own eyes something that you were told probably isn't true or is completely crazy, it does change your mind. It changes and I mean, like, not just, oh, I like blue today, change your mind. It like changes your mind, and it makes you explore deeper things to life and different realms, different ideas. They generally come in either together, like when someone is starting to open their mind, then they'll start to perceive different beings more, or they'll have the experience and then they'll go on a journey of figuring out what it is, and they'll generally always come back to consciousness and the deeper meaning to life, and what does it mean to have different beings on another portion of the universe, or even, I would say maybe even different portions of this world. We don't really know where all of them come from. I think some of them can come from under the water and under the ground, or just a different dimension that we can't really perceive all the time unless they want us to. So there's a definite connection, and then when you make that connection, it really is beautiful. These beings have, even just sky watching, even when I'm out there asking questions and they're showing me different things, it's a whole learning lesson. And it gives me a chance to quiet my mind and just be in the moment too, which I think a lot of us have a very hard time doing. It's very hard these days to just completely quiet your mind and not really have any distractions. But it allows me to get into a state where I'm, pondering more simplistic ways of seeing things, which are generally can lead you to deeper things, because the more simple you get to aspects of life, the more profound they can be sometimes, like just like saying don't worry, be happy, like that song. It's a simple term, but if you think about it, like really, like, let's not stress about all this other stuff that doesn't matter. Just don't worry, just be happy. Right? For me anyways, I could be totally wrong, I don't know. But for me, that's been my experience. And they seem to know where I am. Like I've said, they've shown up places that weren't the normal place of contact, which is my home. And I think that they are pieces of us. I think that they could possibly be family. I think that they might even be maybe even us. It's hard to say for sure. The question is if the star beings have psychic abilities, and my answer to that is yes. The ones I've dealt with and my guides, all generally, with exception for the Pleiadian and the Orion guide, they generally speak with telepathy. I'm sorry. And I'm not too sure because I'm not a Pleiadian on any of the Pleiades planets. I can't tell you if they speak with their mouth or their minds mostly. But I think that they might speak with their, vocalize a little bit more than the others. But I'm not too sure. That's just been my experience. But yes, they all generally speak explicitly, telepathically, or most of the time. And I think that they are trying to show us that we all have these gifts. These gifts aren't given to us. They're only remembered. And I think that that's part of the reason that they're showing up for people is to show us how to remember our gifts, and that these are all natural things within us. Psychic abilities, telepathy, telekinesis. This is all stuff that we used to have back in the time of Lemuria and Atlantis here on this planet. And it was natural. And I think that they're here trying to show us how to get these things back or remember these gifts, because they're never given. They're always within us. It's just up to us to remember how to use them. That's a question I get at. Okay, so the question is, can I teach people how to make contact? And there are ways that, everyone talks about, like CE5 is a big one. And I've done that a couple times. I spent a lot of time doing like meditation and CE5 and things outside by myself, trying to make contact, and it would work. To the level it's working now is much different. And I think for me, it has been to let go of the expectation that it needs to be a certain way. And I let my guard down, and I just became childlike. And this childlike behavior, I think, is what makes them show up in the way that they do. I took away the expectation that it had to be one way or another, or that they were going to even show up in a specific way, or when I actually wanted them to the first time. It was a surprise the first couple times they showed up, and they kind of did it on their own terms. And I think perhaps they were waiting for a different, waiting to see, my level of consciousness, my level of awareness, and how I would react to it before they started showing up in big numbers. But I think the best thing I could tell people is to just go and be fun and have be happy as much as you possibly can. I sing and dance like a lunatic child outside, and they seem to really, really respond well to that. And I'm just out there having fun. And I think it's because when you're singing and dancing, it's very hard to be in a bad mood. It's very hard to be in a bad mood when you're acting like a child again. And I think that the children have a lot to teach us, because they just are. They don't care how, someone sees them or what they're wearing or what they sound like. They're just having fun. And I think that has a lot to do with consciousness and with contact, because the more we can just let our guard down and be happy and open, is when people can start to really see like a really big number of contact happen. Well, thank you so much for having me. Thank you for watching. Again, my name is Maya Starfire. You can find me on YouTube at Maya Starfire, Facebook at Maya Starfire, and my website at mayastarfire.com, where I offer energy healings, energy readings, and oracle and tarot card readings right now. Thank you, Evelyn, so much for having me.